loading in for the second time into Hellscape. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the yellow Protoss player representing Alpha X. It is Azura. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hellscape, we have his opponent. We have the green Protoss player. His teammate also representing Alpha X. It is Exostriker. Reduced how one patch less? Yeah, 2 patch less. Yes. 2 patches less. Oh. So less resources overall to take advantage of. But now we're returning here to Hellscape. Some of the features of this map that we did notice earlier was the 1 hex Reaper cliffs. Unlike some of the other maps though, there are at least 2 cliffs. There's one here towards the left and another towards the right. I think this is 2 hexes actually. Yeah, 2 ways in. Feels good, man. Feels good. But yeah, there was that. There was the more narrow third base. There's the gold here in the middle of the map. There's the massive open center as well, at least when you do crack open these rocks. Oh, there's the alcove. There's the weird alcove with the tower that can be knocked over. I want to see someone knock over this tower. I want to see what happens. Does it just cover this area? Like, what's the point? I don't... Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I guess you can use it to help cover the gold in a way, or maybe to proxy, maybe, but it's like in the path of the scout, so it's just so interesting. So odd. I like it. I like it because it's so weird. As I was talking about this earlier at the start of the broadcast, I was hoping that we weren't going to be seeing too much cheese, and we've been seeing some decent macro play. Finally though, we're seeing our players mix things up a little bit more. Exostriker does have a probe out on the map. And this is looking like a setup for a proxy Stargate. We already have some Adepts on the way here for our green Protoss player, and similarly to last game, Adepts are going to be looking to rush in and deal some damage and follow it up with an Oracle. Pylon finishes, and no, actually, not a Stargate, a Robo instead. Interesting, so this is pretty far out. Proxy Immortals are going to have quite a ways to go, which is why I don't think it's gonna be Proxy Immortal. Got a Proxy Gateway as well. Alright. You have my attention. It looks like a prism. Yeah. It's gonna be 1 base 3 gate all in. 3 gates, so we have more production. The prism to reinforce across the map as well. But Azura, he scouts! Wow, Azura with the game sense. He was looking. He recognized that the 3rd pylon was missing. Where could it be? He does check the bottom right hand corner. He does come across the proxy. And Exostriker's doubling down to make sure that this doesn't get denied, that this doesn't get depowered. He even threw down a shield battery, but does cancel it in the end. Oh, he feels safe. He is going for the Immortal. He's crazy. All right, let's go. Azura's fully aware. Azura, he's responding quite well. He's going for his own Robo back at home to start his own Immortal production. Oh boy, vámonos, papi, vámonos. Before that happens, Azura is also going to be moving out with his Stalkers, and there's not much at home to defend, to be honest. Warp Gate just finished up. We're going to be throwing down a shield battery. Exostriker's out of position. Exostriker, he assumed that Azura was going to try and shut down the proxy. He was getting ready to defend his base or defend his proxy location, not his base back at home. Exostriker completely out of position. The main base has been broken. Stalkers are falling down. It looks like we're going to force a recall eventually. We do have quite a lot of units here and a shield battery, but we're going to be picking up as many probes as possible. We're just going for it. 2 probes go down. Oh, we're going to be losing a little bit more, though. Even the Immortal comes back home. And this is already kind of worth it. Like, Azura, he deals economic damage across the map. He forces the entire army to turn back around, and this is going to give him more time. More time to get more Immortals. We already have 1. We have sentries for force fields. We have a shield battery on the low ground. 1 in the main as well. We're about to have a 2nd Immortal. We have plenty to defend. Meanwhile, Exostriker doubles down. Again, it's still a 1 base all in. He throws down a Proxy Bay robotic space, so he's going to be going for Disruptors. Oh boy, here we go. He's gonna try and force himself up this ramp. Azura does see. Has to be careful. Gonna be sending a couple of adepts across the map, but Exostriker has fully walled off in his own main base. Ooh, and this is going to be pretty important here. If Azura does scout this location, he's going to be able to see the tech, and it looks like he will confirm the bay. He now is aware that his opponent is staying on one base and is committing even further into disruptors. Uh-oh. Azura? No! No! Oh my god, is this it? The prism goes down. It had 2 immortals! That's game! That's huge! Ay, 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 the prism with 2 immortals. Azura, you were doing so well! He was scouting so well. He had everything he needed to defend, and he moves out over his opponent's army. G gets called. Oh my god. Azura. Exostriker takes game 1, even without the disruptor. He didn't even need it. Oh my god. GG. GG, well played. Exostriker takes the lead in this series. I see in the chat, losing a Prism in a Robo vs. Robo is a classic. Prism with 2 immortals. Both immortals were inside. He had everything he needed. Azura had everything. GG. GG. With that, we're getting into game 2. We're getting into our second game. Gonna be on Wilderness of Ire once again. My heart. I can't. I can't handle it, Pop. I can't handle it. Let's go. Also, am I crazy? I believe I don't want to confuse Azura with Asuna. I keep confusing them. Azura is from Italy, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. So spawning in the top left-hand corner of Wilderness of Ire, we have the Italian Protoss player. He is yellow, representing Alpha X. It is Azura. Not to be confused with Asuna, the Chinese player that's also a Protoss and also on Alpha X. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of the Wilderness of Ire, we have his opponent. We have also representing Alpha X, the green Protoss, Exostriker. Two players that I would say are pretty similar in skill level. We see them face off quite often, especially in OSC King of the Hill. They are quite active overall. And we'll see how chaotic this series gets, because there's some of the more aggressive Protoss players in the land of Europe. Meanwhile, again, if you're just joining us recently here, we're loading into the Wilderness of Ire, another one of these newer maps. It is quite large indeed. It's massive, it's huge, it's throbbing, and we also have speed zones, which again, we haven't seen in quite some time. We've got speed zones here in the center, towards the right, and towards the left-hand side of the map as well. On top of that, the speed zones are actually within range of these high yield gas bases, so not the safest bases at all. These, of course, speed zones can be used against you. There's also, of course, high ground behind it as well, and it's also within like a main attack path, which is, again, always interesting. But I don't know if any of that is going to come into play, because it's a PvP, and we can, of course, just go wild here. We can go wild. Last time we were on this map, we actually saw a proxy here towards the northern portion of the map. Proxy Stargate even. But for the time being, both players are being very standard. We have a 2-gate opener, and both players are going for Stalker Sentry openers. With this, it's very safe. With the Sentry, you can hallucinate the Scout. You can scout across the map with your hallucination and just confirm the tech. Like, these Sentries are so crucial, or they feel so crucial here in PvP, especially when you're trying to play standard, when you're trying to play safe, just so you can keep an eye on any kind of proxies, just like we saw last game, or DTs, or, you know, just getting an eye on what tech your opponent is up to. So we had a crazy aggressive game 1. Here in game 2, things are going to be slowing down a little bit. There we go. Azura throws down his Nexus. And Exostriker should be looking to throw down his momentarily. There we go. Nexus is thrown down. No one base shenanigans this time. Oh, here we go. Also, how do you spell ire if it's misspelled? Sorry, how do you pronounce ire if it's misspelled? That's what I was supposed to say. Aye. There we go. We do see both hallucinations moving out across the map just to get eyes on things. Confirming the Nexus, confirming that, again, there's no one base all in. Always good to know. And Exostriker is going to be going for a Robo Opener. Interesting. So, this could be a multitude of things. This could be for faster Immortals to get into Immortal production, or it could be for a Prism. If we throw down a third gateway, we can be aggressive with basically pseudo Blink. This is overall a very kind of typically a defensive opener though. Meanwhile, across the map, we're going into our Twilight Council. Was this scouted? This was scouted by Exostriker. He knows about it. He knows. Likewise, more hallucinations going to be moving out again. This is what we should be expecting throughout the majority of the opener here between our two players. Just constant hallucinated scouts. Both players playing with map hacks back. And there we go. We do have that Immortal production that we were talking about, especially without a third gateway. Like, there's no reason for a Prism at this stage. So we're just going to be working up that Immortal count. And that's just a great way to be defensive early on and turn that defense into an offense later on. Once we get up to 2, 3 Immortals, they can really just dominate a fight, especially when up against Blink Stalkers. There we go. We do have that second Immortal behind this. Again, we're just going to keep scouting, keep confirming. The hallucination should also, get eyes on the Immortal as well. So Exostriker is going to be aware that, Azura is going to be aware that Exostriker's main army is going to be a little bit more robust, but a little bit less mobile. Meanwhile, back at home, we're just going to be doubling down on the Blink Stalkers. We got Blink on the way. We got Forge for +1, just to make sure that in a Blink versus Blink battle, in a Stalker versus Stalker battle, Azura will just have the better Stalkers. Going up to 3 gates, and we should be setting up for a third as well. There we go. Azura is setting up for his own third. Exostriker instead throws down 2 more gates. So it looks like Exostriker is going to be transitioning into more of a 2-base all-in. As we have that third Immortal coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a Prism after this third Immortal and we just move out across the map. We're up to 4 gates. Exostriker is going to be going for that push. And Azura opted not to throw down the third. Has it, like, if he needs it, has a probe in position. But because of the hallucinations, I believe Azura saw the production. Yeah, Azura saw all 4 gates, is aware of what's going on, and is going to be responding with his own gates. So great reactive play here by Azura. He has all the information he needs, and he is responding. Meanwhile, Exostriker is just waiting a little bit longer for that Prism before we move out. We even have more shield batteries, more cannons on the way. Azura is, again, just looking to have a defensive position back at home. This is always a risky thing. Azura's going to try and slow down the army and pick away at whatever he can. Oh, that speed. Yo, but we are going to be able to take advantage of this. Oh, no! The Prism! No! Okay, we're good. The speed zone actually coming in clutch a little bit. Prism does survive. The Stalkers of Azura looking to maybe go for a bit of a counterattack, but we need everything back at home. Aye. Oh, I love this, actually. It's going to be in position to shut down that Prism from behind if it does siege up. Here we go. The Stalkers getting ready to snipe whatever they can. This is going to be spotted by Exostriker. He does see it with his observer. Does siege up that Prism. And Exostriker is going to be taking a third base behind this. Initially was for a 2-base all-in, but has recognized that the defensive position is just too good. We have the overcharge as well. Despite that, these Immortals are doing quite a lot of damage. And here we go. We blink on forward as well. We're trying to focus on as many of these Immortals as possible. We come in from behind. We take down the Prism. And Azura is just going to be able to shut this down again. +1 coming into play with the death of those Immortals. Exostriker, he can't really do too much else. And yeah, he's forced to fight, and this is a fight that he cannot take. We have the better concave, we have the better upgrades, we even have +2 on the way here for Azura. And sure, Exostriker may have a faster third base compared to our yellow Protoss player. He has no army to defend it. Shield battery is on the way. The Stalkers do retreat here, but Azura hot on his tail. Oh, the Immortal! No, it's exposed! Okay, doesn't see it. Doesn't quite spot it. Oh, it does take out a sentry for free. That Immortal is going to be pretty crucial here for Exostriker to defend. Meanwhile, Azura just goes for a counterattack, just goes for a run by. It's going to be able to one-shot a couple of these probes. 3, 4 probes going down at the same time. Another Stalker army is going to threaten the third base, but this is where the Immortal is, so Azura's going to have to respect that. Does back off for the time being, and Exostriker is going to be able to get away with this third. Meanwhile, Azura is falling a little bit behind economically. But there is going to be a very strong timing here, and Azura is fully aware of it. We have a Prism on the way because +2 is about to kick in. We're going to have +2 Stalkers against +0 Stalkers. And sure, we have an Immortal, but as long as Azura is able to focus fire, then he is going to be able to overwhelm and overpower the army of Exostriker. Thankfully, we have a second Immortal on the way. We're going to have the shield battery. We're going to have the overcharge. Like, Exostriker basically has to completely give up map control and just focus on turtling, focus on defending. You have the Bay on the way for disruptors. We didn't get to see them in game 1, but maybe here in game 2, if the game does last that long. So here we go. +2 has kicked in. Azura just sending it across the map. We are up to pretty similar Stalker counts overall, but these Zealots will make a big difference here in the fight. Stalkers and Immortals have a really hard time dealing with Zealots. They provide such a good kind of buffer zone here for the Stalkers of Azura. And here we go, the Immortals are exposed! A little bit of miscontrol with the target fire, but there we go. 1, 2, 3 Immortals go down in the blink of an eye. The overcharge doesn't do anything to support them. Just was not enough. The DPS was too damn high with these +2 Stalkers. And Azura just completely crushes this army. GG gets called. We have an ace match. Ooh, let's go. We're going all the way to game number 3. Again, really great scouting and reactive play from Azura. Having a lot of respect for his opponent. Oh, and yeah, we have ourselves an ace match. Let's go, Papi. Let's go. Exostriker, on the other hand, I do appreciate that upon recognizing that he got scouted and that his 2-base all-in wasn't going to work, I appreciate that he went for the third base, but I don't appreciate that he committed to the fight, despite even knowing that there were Stalkers behind his army. Remember, he had an observer. He saw the Stalkers behind him, but he still committed to the fight anyway. That did cost him his army in the end, and now spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Sacred Isle, we have the Italian Protoss player representing Alpha X. It is Azura. Or Azura. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Sacred Isle, we have his opponent. We have the green Protoss representing Alpha X. It is Exostriker. And we're back on the map with the pocket bases. Again, only one gas geyser and only 6 mineral patches, so 2 less than a normal base, but a pocket nonetheless can be taken advantage of. We also have, of course, our rich Vespene gas geyser base, which we haven't seen taken yet in this tournament, with those rocks as well that do make things a little bit more awkward. And we'll see how we kick things off. Now, I wish like we had a player like MaxPax in this tournament. And the reason why I say that is because it's very possible that when we have ninja bases like this, we can go for gate expands in PvP. Neither one of our players are willing to do that yet. We just see 2 gate openers all around. But when we have a pocket base like this, we can be greedier here in PvP. It's sometimes risky, and the player that does it has to be really confident in their ability to defend. That's why I say like MaxPax, Trigger does it as well. They're the kind of players that go for gate expands even on maps that it isn't safe to do so. So yeah, it's something that I'm sure we would see if we did have this map come into rotation into the map pool. Meanwhile, Exostriker, for the second time in this series, is going for a proxy. Now again, despite Exostriker going for the proxy in game 1, and despite winning game 1, if you remember, Azura scouted everything. Azura has been so on point with his scouting this entire series. It's just sometimes about the execution. And here we go, we do have 2 adepts on the way. Now, if you remember, this, I imagine this is for a proxy Stargate. This is kind of like what the 2 adepts and would-be Oracle signify. But just like game number 1, Exostriker is going for a proxy Robo instead. And we'll see if he executes it in the same way. We had a proxy Robo with a proxy gateway. There's the gateway. Into Immortal Production, into a Bay, into Disruptors. Well, there's even that second pylon as well to make sure everything stays up and running. Meanwhile, Azura was able to get a full scout off. Was able to recognize that something was missing, and Azura is scouting for the missing pylon here on the left-hand side of the map, or is again just out of the map, actually for himself. Hallucinations are moving out. Will he come across this though? He is making a beeline across the map. When he does get across the map, he will also once again confirm the lack of base and the lack of pylon. So he's getting pieces of the puzzle. There we go. He is now fully aware that there should be a proxy somewhere on the map, especially with all this gas being taken and no tech either. He knows that something is wrong, but what? There we go. Immediately we react with a Robo. This is a good reaction for defensive Immortals. So, and then, oh my god, we even have 2 shield batteries here at the natural as well. My oh my. Azura fully aware that an all-in is coming his way, but from what angle? Especially because we have a pocket base, like we have another angle of attack essentially, especially with the prism. Here we go, the prism is on the way. Oh, Azura getting ready to deal with a push here at his natural, and kind of in his main. He is split up. Wait, this is gonna make things a little bit more difficult, but there we go. Azura with the scouting probe. Up. Did he see? He does now. He does confirm the army. Everything just being elevated into the main base. We do have a sentry, but the ramp coming into the main from the pocket is a little bit too wide. Oh, the sentry does get focused down. We have the overcharge, but these units are a little bit out of range. Yeah, 2 stalkers already go down. The pylon is under threat as well. And oh my god, the Robo! It's gonna get depowered. The Immortal doesn't come out. The boys are being pulled. The shield battery is depowered as well. And that's Artosis pylon is gonna end it. GG gets called. Exostriker takes the series 2-1. Oh, GG. We were seconds away from that Immortal coming out. Even if it did come out, would it have made the difference? Maybe. The Immortal comes out, we pull the boys. The shield battery is still powered as well. We can maybe make a defense. But GG, well played. A really awkward kind of fight there. Yeah, and we can see kind of a dangerous map to proxy as well, just because you can come in from that pocket base and your main isn't as safe as it otherwise would be. GG. GG, well played. Azura is eliminated from the tournament and Exostriker will advance on. GG. GG, well played. Ooh, as we find ourselves another series. And as we find ourselves another series, a massive shout out to Ranger in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid, Poppy. Thank you. We appreciate it. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. I hope you're enjoying your road to 6K. Hold on, I'm smiling on you a little bit.